I would say in a lot of ways this game is a low pressure game for us, and I know that sounds a bit strange because we didn't beat Saracens last season, so in a lot of Saracens came here, the only team that beat us at Sandy Park. We actually ended up losing fairly heavily away at Saracens, and obviously they beat us in the final. So in some ways it's just a great opportunity for us to go and challenge ourselves and see if we're a bit closer to them than we were last year. So the pressure of the result I don't think is as big. I think the pressure on us is to make sure we put in a really good performance in front of our home supporters that they can really believe in, and that we can really believe in, and we know shows the level that we can perform out at home. That's far more important to me than almost anything else in that first home game. I want this to be a sellout, and I want every player who comes, every person who comes in here to want to come again, because they lived and breathed the game with the team, and I think that's what creates a good home record. That's what creates a great support base. That's what creates a great atmosphere here. Is almost the performance of the team more than the result.
So it's setting the tone really for the whole season to a certain degree. What you do here on Sunday.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what it's about. It's about showing, as I say, showing a lot of people that we mean business, and that the 80 minutes here on a Saturday or a Sunday is the most important part of the week, and it's the most important thing to the players, and that's the level of performance they put in as individuals and as a team.
Having seen Sarries up close and personal a number of times last season, and I'm sure you will have studied what they've done either in pre-season or last week anyway, where do you feel that they have improved and got better since that Premiership final?
I think the best thing to say with Saracens is that they've learnt to be very comfortable with themselves, and that allows them to be very good. It allows them to be very consistent. It's a big learn for us that they've lost semi-finals and lost finals and had heartbreaking results and things that have hurt them, and yet they've never run away and gone, oh well, we've got to completely rip everything up. They've always been very comfortable keeping the parts of their game that are successful, and working on making sure the whole squad are very good at those successful parts, and they understand their individual roles within it. And then on top of that, they're very good at they've slowly been adding a little bit of stardust, and that's partly down to the quality of individual players, and partly down to how comfortable the team are together. And so from what I've seen from Saracens, they look like they've just done exactly the same again. They've worked very hard at the things they're good at. The team look very comfortable doing that, and then that gives them a platform that, as I say, individual moments can create havoc. And they've got a back line all capable of doing that. They've got some forwards who are capable of breaking tackles from anywhere once they start carrying. So they've kind of got the perfect balance inside.
So, Ronnie, thank you very much.
Rob, you described last weekend as probably a par result in terms of getting a losing bonus point, but in reality, you probably could have got all four. Is that something you've spoken to the boys about, just tinkering a few little things from last weekend?
Yeah, I'll tell you the truth. What we said. I said to the lads, in a lot of ways, a loss is something you should really cherish, because you go away as a coaching team and as players, and you don't brush over anything. You look at everything, and every little when you lose a game by one score, as we did, you look at every little mistake and think, is that the one that cost us the game? And so you look at it in real detail, and there's no hiding place for anybody. The flip side of that is, anybody who watched the game will know we had more than one try scoring opportunity that we didn't take. You take one of those, and anybody who watches well know we conceded a couple of soft tries really for us. Well, you knock off one try and you score one, and all of a sudden you're talking about a comfortable 10 or 12 point win away from home against Wasps, who are a very good side. We wouldn't have played much different. You're talking about one pass and one tackle. You wouldn't play much different, and you'd feel emotionally quite different. And we have talked about that. We have said, that's the level we were performing at, and that was how close we came to winning the game. But on the flip side, that means that we're not going to look at the mistakes we made and the errors we made, and face them head on. And to be fair, the players have done that really, really well. We've trained very well on the back of it. We're a little disappointed, but as I've said, a season is not built on the result of one game. A season is built on levels of performance week in, week out. And the important thing for us now is to put a really big, high level of performance into the game this weekend. And you've got to be prepared to take what you deserve. I said to the lads before the game, let's make sure that our performance deserves the win, because that's what tends to happen. You tend to get what you deserve, and as it was, our performance levels probably in the second half meant we didn't quite merit to win the game.
Last season, the foundation of it was a lot of the home form, and when you look at it now, one defeat in 20 months here, and that's Saracens. And will that be a driving factor in some cases?
I don't think the fact that Saracens are the last team that win here is a big driver for us. I just think the fact that we want to win and we want to play really well is a big driver for us. You know, the lads have been a little quiet since the game, the weekend. I think they were a little disappointed. But the important thing for me is they just understand, you know, why they should be disappointed. You shouldn't be disappointed just because you lose a game of rugby. You know, if you play really, really well and a team beat you, there's not too much to be disappointed about. But I think as long as we're disappointed because we think there's a bit more in the game for us, I can deal with that. But at the same time, there's a difference between being disappointed and sorry for yourself. And what we've got to make sure is by the time the weekend game rolls around, it's not a feeling of feeling sorry for ourselves. It's a bit about disappointment and an element of frustration that we're going to go out and try and perform to a higher level.